Well, a warm welcome once more to The Full View. Now, the City of Joburg's MMC for Health and Social Development, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, has been taking part in raids of illegal creches in the inner city in Johannesburg. And that comes, of course, after two toddlers died after ingesting rat poison at an illegal creche in West Dean earlier in the month. The circumstances surrounding that were being investigated last time we spoke to anyone. The MMC, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, joins us in studio now. Thank you, MMC. So you went out today with officials. What did you see?
So today we visited about 5 ECD facilities. The first one was a model ECD facility. We wanted everybody to see what we expect.
So that's early childhood development.
An early childhood development facility. You know, the first one was near perfect, really. But if you look at what fees they ask from parents, they range from anything from 2,500 to about 3,000 rands per month.
Yeah.
We're dealing here with people who cannot afford those kinds of fees, and they opt to leave their children with these illegal early childhood development facilities.
So the first one was a legal creche. So that's where everything is in order, but it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Tell us about the illegal ones.
So we visited another 4 facilities, 2 of which we unfortunately had to issue with notices to cease operating until they've put certain things in place. The first one that we went to actually tried to hide the fact that they were operating. The Residents Association alerted us to their existence. They saw an advert on the wall. We visited them. The advert was no longer there. I think they were warned that we were coming.
Yeah.
We insisted on going inside. And when we went to the back of the house, there was evidence of ECD activity that had gone on in the past, although there were no children today. There was a lot of construction clutter outside. It looks like they're doing some renovation work in the cottage or converting part of the building into a cottage. It was very unsafe, very dangerous to even walk around, even for us. Certainly not a place for children to hang around. We did issue them with a notice to seize all ECD operations if they are still continuing. We are, however, willing to work with them to work towards compliance if they're willing to continue in this business.
I mean, it must be hard for you because you know then that the parents are stuck. So they're choosing illegal creches because they need somewhere for their kids to be, but they can't pay the costs.
It's very true. So a part of me was really excited when I heard the president announcing that, you know, there's going to be a migration of the ECD function from social development to education. However, it's still unclear what that will look like. There's a lot of consultation, I believe, going on, even though municipalities have really not been engaged at this point. I do believe that that is the direction we need to take as a nation. This is a national crisis. So what's happening in the city of Johannesburg is not exclusive to the city of Johannesburg. We do have a crisis. We've got poverty to deal with. Mothers do need to go to work. They need to leave their children somewhere where it's affordable. If you look at somebody that's earning minimum wage, for instance, there's no way they can afford 2,500 a month towards early childhood development. So this problem will continue for as long as we do not have any alternative to offer to these mothers.
Right now, who gives the license to operate to a creche?
So the first thing to do is to register your creche as a legal entity. So it must be registered as either a company or an NPO. That's the first step. And then in terms of the city's bylaws, you need to approach the local authority. So in this case, the city of Johannesburg. Our starting point is social development because we've created a very simple process to follow where social development takes the lead and then links you up with other departments, namely environmental health, development planning, that's land use management, as well as building control, as well as EMS, fire safety. You then need to go through the entire compliance process. Each step is fairly independent, but there's also codependencies. So, you know, but you need to comply at each step. And environmental health will be the last one. They will issue you with a health permit. And if you handle food, you also need a certificate of acceptability.
So you said the city is going to try and help these creches to legalize. It sounds like there's a lot of hurdles for maybe an entrepreneur, someone running a small business.
There is.
What are you going to do to make it easier?
In fact, we've already started. So this is not something new. The only thing that's new is that we're now targeting illegal ones that are not on our database. We've got a database of about 4,000 early childhood development centers within the city of Johannesburg that we are currently working with. Some of them are compliant. Some of them are working towards 100% compliance with the help of the city. There are many barriers, you are right. For instance, in order to go through the development planning process, you need a title deed or a lease agreement, you know how many people do not have title deeds in our setting. I mean, that is a historical problem.
And this affects townships, people where people desperately need their kids to be looked after.
Yes,
while they
precisely.
work.
So we've got informal settlements where we've got early childhood development centers that are active. What do? Do you close them down? You know, what happens to all those children? That's why our approach as a local government is restorative. It's rather to partner with these facilities. Of course, if there's absolute danger and unhealthy and unhygienic conditions, we will close it down and help them while they're not servicing any child. But where they are, you know, well on their way to 100% compliance, we can allow them to continue operating while we're helping them get to 100% compliance.
A quick update finally, because there were questions left unanswered about how 2 toddlers died after ingesting rat poison in West Dean. Have you been following those investigations closely?
Well, we have, and unfortunately we don't have anything further to report because it's now sitting with the South African Police Services. We do know how slowly the wheel can turn within the SAPS in terms of investigating cases.
Can you as MMC go and say, please hurry this up?
Well, we have done that. We did visit the SAPS I think it was about 2 weeks ago in Sophia Town. So we are working with them, but they do need to investigate and they do need to get to the bottom of what happened. We have the autopsy reports, and the reports did indicate it's organophosphate poisoning, but the question remains, where did it come from? Both children were at the same facility, so the ECD facility is the common factor. So, you know, we suspect that that's where it happened. However, the SAPS do need to investigate and prove the case.
All right, thank you for your time this evening. So 2 illegal creches basically shut down after those raids today. That was the City of Joburg MMC for Health and Social Development, Dr. Mpho Phalatse.